This may be the realest video I've ever made for you guys. But before we get into that, thank you for checking this channel out. My name is Ruslan. I'm an artist and entrepreneur, and this channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire fellow artists and entrepreneurs to go deeper and further in their goals and dreams. If you're new here, you really should subscribe. Some of you guys know a little bit about me, some of you guys don't. I put out an album called Americana, and I shared a lot of my story. And something that's maybe unique about me, and maybe some of you guys can relate to, is I was raised by a single mother. Didn't have my father in my picture from a very early on age, and then my mom and dad split, and he was pretty much absent. And as I grew up, we got to kind of reconcile our relationship, and we're in a really cool place right now. But growing up with a single mother, like I'm sure many of us have, as a male, you tend to be a bit more sensitive, and you tend to be a bit more in touch with your emotions, and sometimes you aren't sure how to channel those, and you're not sure what's appropriate. And so as a child, I was very emotional. I would cry if my feelings were hurt. I would cry if I got physically hurt and it wasn't that bad, and be like, people would be looking at me like, dude, it's not that serious. And I was a pretty emotional kid, and the truth is, when people meet me now, they say, man, you seem so stoic, you seem so intense, you seem so detached. And the truth is, I'm still very sensitive. I'm an artist, I'm a creative, but the difference is now I tend to be a bit more guarded. And the biggest thing about me that's different than when I was a kid is that I'm actually taking my emotions and I'm channeling them in a productive way. I'm channeling them into my art, into my content, into the things that are helping me and helping other people. So when my feelings get hurt, I don't get all up in my feelings and get sad about it. Actually, oftentimes it either inspires one of these videos or it inspires a song or some piece of content. The biggest correlation that I find with many artists, much like myself, is that we're honestly too emotional. We're very sensitive, and that could be a detriment in terms of building a life, right? We get caught up in being led by our emotions, and we make decisions out of our emotions, and we don't stop to think and use our mind and use our intellect to think through situations and think through potential relationships and partnerships and how to go about navigating things. We're just all here. Here's the deal. Creating from a place of just raw emotion, super dope. Great art. Living your life that way, not a dope way to live and build a life. And the reality is, common sense isn't very common nowadays. I don't think that's exclusive to just creatives. Many people are just kind of floating through life without a plan, being swayed by whatever they're feeling at the moment. If they feel like they need to self-medicate themselves, they'll do that with food or drugs or alcohol. If they feel like depressed, they isolate. And oftentimes the things that are going to cause us to be successful are the very opposite things of what we're feeling. That's the hang up with a lot of creatives, is they're just all emotion, they're all creativity, they're all feelings. And how I've kind of made this make sense in my brain in a productive way to do this is I've tried to take me being emotional, I've tried to take that and rewire myself to be passionate. So again, I said the things that hurt me and hurt my feelings, I don't just dwell on them and think about them and get more sad. Take those things and I take those hurts and I pour them into creativity. I pour them into making content, but I release and I let go. And maybe I make a video, maybe I make a song, but I'm okay emotionally because I have a place to channel it. But I don't dwell, I don't bring that stuff to my wife. I don't bring that energy into my home. And maybe I talk through it with somebody, but oftentimes I just channel it right into the content. And so don't live your lives in an emotional way. Live your lives in a passionate way. Live your lives based and built on truth that you know is going to move the needle in your lives. And that'll teach you and lead you to create margin. That'll teach you to win with your finances and win in your relationships. That'll teach you to be someone that happens to life and doesn't just let life happen to you. You're someone that leads and impacts people and not just letting people trample all over you and dictate how you feel about yourself. So don't be led by your emotions. Lead your emotions and channel them into productive things. Again, great way to create art, great way to create music. Channel that stuff. Not a great way to live your life. Not a great way to be dominated by your feelings and the things that are oftentimes irrational, things that are oftentimes based on perspective and nuance and personality aren't always the best way to react and build a life worth having. And ultimately, what I want for all of us is not just to make a bunch of money and make a living. I want us to make a life. I want us to leave a legacy. I want us to impact people and change the world. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's really my heart with trying to empower and motivate and inspire people. And I feel like creatives are oftentimes on the cutting edge of leading in these areas, leading in music, leading in culture, winning with our finances, leaving wealth behind. But we get so wrapped up and we get toxic and we get in our own feelings and we lose sight of the truth that we know that we should be building our lives on. And so in the comment section below, I want to hear from you guys. Do you tend to be emotional like me, or are you just kind of like, I'm numb, right? And how do you deal with channeling that emotion? Do you get sad and just kind of get frozen? Or are you able to channel that into your art and let it go and release and not take it personally as an attack on you? So leave that in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe. And this one definitely, I know there's somebody in your life that needs to hear this one. So hit that share button, tweet it, text it to some friends, share the content. Thank you guys for checking us out. Peace.